Dickie Mouse's team is the Detroit Pistons, right?
That's a fact.
And right now they're 13 and 17. They're doing
Mm-hmm.
pretty good compared to last season, how they
10th
were
in the
playing last
East.
season.
Let's throw
10th
that
in
out
the
there.
East
10th
right
in the
now. Their
East.
top player, Kate Cunningham, averaging 23.9 points per game, 7 rebounds
Mm-hmm.
per game, 9.7 assists per game, while shooting
Mm-hmm.
45% from the field and 37% from three. Dickie, just to start off with you, man, how do you feel
Mm-hmm.
about your Detroit Pistons and how they're playing right now?
If I'm gonna be honest with you again, listen, me and you have had multiple talks about this G Money. As a real fan, I'm a real Pistons fan. I'm not no fake bandwagon fan, nothing. I want to see progress, even if that progress is incremental. I already told you last year how I felt about Monty and stuff like that, and the Detroit Pistons finally, decided and they let him go. Bring in
Mhm,
Bickerstaff. Now, I won't lie, I was a little skeptical with Bickerstaff because his previous stops in Atlanta and I think he was in Cleveland too, if
Cleveland.
I'm not mistaken. I
Yep.
think, yeah, if
yep.
I remember correctly. So, okay, completely different situation. You're trying to build a young team, establish a certain, whether it be attitude or, just a certain environment for the Detroit Pistons, because we've been losing. We've been a
Mhm,
terrible organization. But I like where we're going again. I like what Bickerstaff has done. I think he's really kind of honed in like what he wants Cade to do. And I think that's a bit of everything. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think Cade's rebounding, I didn't see that. I thought he could be a pretty good playmaker, and he can score the basketball as well. But his rebounding has really, to me, has kind of become infectious. We got excuse me, my man Duran, one of the top rebounders in the
mhm.
NBA. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Love him every time on prize picks. It's no less than 11 and a half for him. So I'm loving that. I think Jaden Ivey has kind of stepped up. He's kind of found, that rhythm that I was really looking for last year. But I feel like, last year when Asura Thompson really kind of came onto the scene, I don't know if Jaden might have took a little hit on the confidence or whatever, but that confidence seems to be back now. So I'm like that. Not the biggest fan of bringing Tobias or Tim Hardaway back, but they do seem to be bringing a certain, veteran presence, not necessarily translating to like, crazy scoring on the court, but I think their attitude and they've seen a lot of stuff. Both of them, like I said, are savvy vets. You know what I mean? Been around different teams, different organizations, so they can, give some advice to the young guns. So I like where we're at right now. You know what I'm saying? I really love that. If the playoffs were to start today, we'd be the 10th seed. We'd be in the play-in. I mean, that's really all you can ask for. We were we had the worst record in the league last year, worse than Washington, if you can believe that. So, I like that. I like this progression. So I hope, we continue to kind of just steady the ship. Who knows? We'll see what happens at the end of the year. But I like where we're at right now in Detroit, man.
No, you should. You should. There's a lot of
Mhm.
improvement that you guys had from last season, 100%. Ernie, what
So,
do you think about the Pistons right now? You think they're gonna give us a little trouble to the East and everybody else?
Well, let me tell you something, bro. The Pistons have always played the Heat well over the last
true.
couple of years. They've always
Yep.
played the
Hmm.
Heat well, even with Monty. So for me, first get Monty getting that contract, I really thought it was going to be a staple. I thought they were going to ride out with him, let him build the culture, let him do his thing. But towards the end of the year, you can tell that losing streak started to weigh on them. You can tell that Monty was coaching for his job as opposed to letting the young kids play. I mean, I know Azur Thompson is a young guy, but like you said, Ivy's evolution has come with more playing time, more confidence. Putting him in tougher situations. A lot of people, when it came to Kate Cunningham, he got that extension at the end of the year.
Hmm.
Excuse me, before the year started, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, they have to sign somebody. You got to lock in somebody." And I'm a big Cade guy. I think Cade Cunningham has
Yeah,
potential
I
to
like
be,
K.
yeah,
Yeah.
top 15, top 20 guy in the NBA. In a
Hmm.
few years.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, and JB, I mean, JB has instilled a culture. The one
Hmm.
thing, I mean, I'm sure Dickie can, appreciate this as a Pistons fan. One thing the Pistons have this year that they haven't had over the last 5 years, you can see the vision.
Hmm.
You can see what JB wants to do with this team.
For sure.
I was surprised Cleveland let JB go last year. I mean, they played
True.
Orlando really tough in that first series. They came up short against Boston, but so did
Hmm.
everybody. So I was astonished that Cleveland just
Fact.
let him go. Obviously, they're proving me right. They started off the year super hot, but
Hmm.
I mean that's one of those transactions where it worked for everybody. Cleveland got better, letting JB go.
Hmm.
Detroit had to eat a lot of that contract from Monty, which I'm sure was unpleasant. But you
Mhm.
can see the vision. And as a Pistons fan, you have to be super impressed with what's going on. Because the team now has a vision. There's a culture set in place. Guys are getting minutes. You're only going to get better by playing. So the young guys are getting opportunity to play. They're getting opportunity to be out there. And I love the point you made about Tobias and Tim Hardaway. You kind of sometimes need coaches on the floor, someone to relay that message. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. No one's going to call. I mean, Tobias Harris's agent deserves to be in the Naismith Hall of Fame. That guy keeps
Kirk
getting
Cousins' agent.
yeah,
For
him and
real.
Kirk
For
Cousins,
Cousins'
we got to
real.
agent,
investigate those guys
bruh,
for embezzlement of
crazy,
funds. Because,
crazy.
bro, those guys are. But hey, I don't fault them. But you do
Yeah.
need to have that coaching and that leadership on the court as well as from the coaching staff. So, Detroit Pistons fans, there's a vision for the future, and the future looks bright.
Well,
No, yeah,
I just,
very well said.
can I say something real quick,
Yeah,
Gino?
yeah.
Because me and Ernie, this is like our first time really discussing and stuff like that. So one of my biggest things was with the Monty hiring. If you remember, remember when we fired what's my guy name that came from Toronto? Damn, his name is
Casey,
it that
Dwayne Casey.
yeah, Dwayne Casey. Again, still the same thing. Very
Yep.
terrible record, getting a very high pick every single year. When we hired Monty, remember, Monty did not want the job initially. He turned us
You did it.
down.
It's
It
the
Mhm.
was
money.
not until we
Yep.
went exactly. We went to Monty with $100 million. And to me, that just kind of set the wrong precedence because again, I love Monty. You just took a team to the finals. Now, granted, that team had Chris Paul and Devin Booker and a lot of other parts and stuff like that. I get that. But Monty just wasn't, I just didn't think he came into it off the rip. I really wanted Ime Udoka. That's who I really wanted because,
Oof.
in my
Would have been
opinion,
fire.
you need a culture setter, and I thought Ime
Mhm.
did that not only in Boston as well. You see what he's doing in Houston.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
let's be real. Houston
Yep.
is a hot team right now, and I think they're only ascending. So I wanted Ime Udoka, and like I said, I wanted in Detroit. Let's be honest, we have to overpay for free agents. We're not a big free agent destination and things like that. But I thought Ime would attract the right free agents. And like I said, so again, I love JB. I don't want to put that out to say that like I don't like JB. I really like what JB is doing, but I originally wanted Ime. I didn't want Monty with that one. And but everything else you said, spot on, man. I'm
Yep.
I'm I'm loving it. So
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit it on the nail. I don't even really have to get into much. I just want to bring in the fact that Malik Beasley is another one for me in the
Ooh.
that's true.
veteran
That is
status
true. I
that
did
you
not
Yep.
guys
say
really needed. Because
yeah.
like we talked about this last year, Dickie,
Hmm.
that we were on the same tip of like you guys need veterans to come in and show you guys how to win. Because last year,
True.
what you guys won 8 to 9 games,
Yeah.
right?
I think 11 and
Yeah.
12.
So right
Yeah.
now you're already past that. It's not
Yeah,
even the second half
exactly.
of the season. You're
Yeah.
you're in the 10th seed. You're in a
Hmm.
playoff spot right now. Initially, you
Hmm.
be in the playoffs right now, so that's a good thing. It's all
For
improvement,
sure.
right? And I
Yeah.
For
agree with
sure.
both of you on the Bickerstaff thing. He came in, set a different culture than Monty Williams was
Hmm.
setting. I agree with Dickie that when he came in, it was just like, I guess I'll take the job. Fuck
Yeah.
it, whatever. Give me the millions of
Yep.
dollars. I'm in there, you
Yeah,
know.
facts.
So you're bringing that negative energy already, and then
Hmm.
when you're trying
Hmm.
to coach up these guys in the locker rooms, they're not young kids no more. They're young
Yep.
adults,
Exactly.
yeah, but they're not kids in college. So you
Yep.
gotta
Exactly.
give them a little bit of respect and a little bit of different coaching mentality than you would when you came from the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, you got CP3, Devin Booker,
Hmm. Exactly.
these good veteran guys that really
Yep.
know how to win and want to win. You
Yep.
got
Yeah.
young dudes that are just out there, most of them out there, just whatever. I'm getting paid to
Yep.
play ball, and it is what it is.
And
Yeah,
So
then,
you got
exactly.
and in your case, George, that's a great point because the leadership that he had in Phoenix, it just so happened that those veterans were also your best players.
exactly.
Mm,
That wasn't the case in
true.
Detroit. You can't lean on,
Yeah.
leadership when those guys aren't your dogs. You're asking an
Exactly.
awful lot of Cade and of Ivy and Azor to
Yeah.
lead this team mentally, not even on the
Facts.
court with their play, but lead a group of men when they're themselves are just getting into it. So
Exactly.
that's a great distinction you made there because Chris Paul and Devin Booker were the veterans, but they also happen to be the
Hmm.
best players on that team. So it's a lot
Facts.
And
easier
and they
to
want to
lead,
win. And they want to
Yeah.
win. Like
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
it's
And,
you
and
can't
it's
teach
hard.
that. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
It has to be embedded in you.
A hundred
100%.
percent.
And it's hard to teach anything, but no disrespect. Since Cade's been on our team, all he knows is losing. All
Yep.
Jaden Ivey knows is losing. Durant losing. Isaiah Stewart, who's probably
Jalen
before
Duren.
Tobias and Hardaway and Malik Beasley came, he was our longest tenure, guy on the Detroit Pistons. All he knows is losing. So, like you said, I like how JB has kind of came in and said, "Look, man, I just want to say that Malik Beasley point is really good." And I was not a fan of Malik Beasley. Well, when I hate the Lakers anyway, but when he was on the Lakers, man couldn't hit nothing. I mean, he can't hit nothing or whatever like that. But now he come to us. He's one of the
He's hitting
top
like
3-point
four
shooters
threes a game.
percentage wise
Yep.
in the league. I'm like, I'm loving that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Because you get him away from the Lakers, come over to Detroit, man. You feel me? So
Yeah.
yeah.